welcome to Mr. Mendo's Hack Attack. I am your fantabulous host, Diamanda Hagan, and I have to live with that every day.
Excuse me? What the hell, damn guy?
Who are you?
Mr. Mendo, the actual host of this show.
Mr. What? Who? Sorry, never heard of you.
My name is in the title. The title you said not 10 seconds ago.
Oh yeah, I remember. You're one of the little people, aren't you? Well, you can just fuck right off because this show demands, nay, it deserves, and it shall have, a host with actual talent. Besides, I don't think you can handle the film I'm about to watch. Lars von Trier's Antichrist.
What the? I told you that I was going to review this movie.
Your puny little mind couldn't stand up to reviewing this film, which, as I understand it, is a landmark in modern horror. It's been known to make lesser reviewers crap themselves. Actually, that sounds funny. You can stay.
Bitch.
Pussy. So, Antichrist. I haven't seen it yet, but my fellow Channel Awesome reviewer Owen Citizen has done a fantastic review of it, which I hope to get round to watching someday when I give a shit about him. But judging by the title, Antichrist is some sort of satanic-themed, omen-inspired gore-fest with plenty of thrills and chills. It's directed by Lars von Trier, a legend of the horror genre, and stars Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg as a couple in for the scare of their lives. The movie premiered at Cannes, and I hear it said people running from the theatre in sheer terror.
I don't think it was terror that was making people run from the theater. I mean, the movie may be called Antichrist, but it's not like it's about the son of Satan or anything. And also, you do realize that Lars von Trier is not exactly what you would call a horror director, right?
Well, of course I know that. I mean, the man also directed Dogville, which I'm pretty sure is some sort of an animated film about talking dogs. And then there's Breaking the Waves, which I haven't seen, but I've been assured it's an excellent documentary on surfing. And who could forget his Bruce Springsteen biopic, Dancer in the Dark? But you could say that horror films are where he made a name for himself.
Well, you could say that, but he's really more of an art house director, and his movies deal with things like rape, incest, sadomasochism.
Do go on.
Well, he tries to provoke as much controversy as possible, which is probably why he recently got in trouble for claiming to be a Nazi, and he also admitted in an interview that Antichrist was made without much enthusiasm, so it seems he's really just out to shock people, and in the case of this movie, I would have to say, successful troll is successful. Also, he's one of Denmark's biggest celebrities, so I figure we need an actual Danish person to explain who he is. Sophie?
So just because I'm Danish, you just expect that I know everything about Lars von Trier now, don't you? As a matter of fact, I just happen to know something about Lars von Trier. Lars von Trier is of course a Danish director who is known for his artistic movies. He's all about trying to be provocative, pushing the boundaries, and about being really, really experimental, really funny and really satiric and really brilliant. I'm sure Antichrist is that too. I don't know. I fell asleep watching it. And Lars von Trier is genius. He's like Danish Jesus. No. I want my cameo. Freaking Diamanda Hagan is this. She's on the side. Look at me. Look at how pretty I am, and I have a cool head. Did I mention it? I don't know that much about Lars von Trier.
See? He's a national treasure.
I wasn't paying attention to any of that, but I'm sure it was very enlightening. Can we please start the fucking movie?
Roll 'em.
The movie opens with a man and woman in the throes of passion, and since I learned everything I know from Friday the 13th films, I know a couple having sex is a sure sign that they're about to get killed. Any minute now, I'm sure, a crazed killer will burst in and put a spear through both of them, turning them into a victim kebab.
That doesn't quite happen.
Oh, I know. This is more of a supernatural thriller, so while they're doing it, the man will be possessed by a ghost, and he'll start fucking with his ghost cock, and he'll shoot her full of his ghost jizz.
Okay, first of all, gross. Second of all, none of that happens. But we do get to see actual uncensored penetration, which, in this instance, is pretty horrifying. And before you ask, no, that's not Willem Dafoe's, Green Goblin there. Both actors use porn star body doubles for this movie.
Stunt cock!
Stunt cock! Stunt cock!
While they're having graphic sex, their toddler son crawls to an open window. His parents are blissfully unaware as he tumbles out and falls to his death. And then...
And then he comes back to skin them?
No.
I know, the wife gets pregnant and the son gets reincarnated, and this time, he's a zombie!
What? No, that doesn't even make any sense.
Just tell me what happens, I'm sure it's delightfully ghoulish.
Well, afterwards, they both have to deal with unbearable grief.
So, when does Damien show up?
So, after that prologue, we begin the first chapter of the film, Grief. This movie is divided up into 3 chapters, Grief, Pain, and Despair. Although there's really no difference between any of them, the chapters may as well have been called Fucked Up, Really Fucked Up, and well, this is just a clusterfuck now. After their son's death, the wife is so despondent she ends up in a psychiatric hospital being heavily medicated. But the husband, who happens to be her therapist, thinks he can do a better job, so he takes his wife home and treats her himself. Which seems to go quite well. Eventually, he decides exposure therapy is the way to go, as in making her face the one thing she fears most.
Please say it's werewolves.
No, it's their cabin in the woods called Eden. So, we have a couple referred to only as he and she in the closing credits, and they're heading back to Eden. I'm pretty sure what scares her the most is the heavy-handed symbolism. Getting to the cabin involves a long hike through the woods. Along the way, they stop to rest, and the man wanders off alone and comes across a deer.
Aw, isn't that sweet? What a cute little... Oh my god! What is that?
That would be the deer's stillborn fetus, still hanging out of its mother's womb. All I have to say is, worst time at the petting zoo ever. On that note, we head right into Chapter 2, Pain. Too bad they didn't listen to Mr. T when he tried to warn them about this.
Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain.
They spend the night in the cabin, and the guy sleeps with his hand out of a window. And when he wakes up, he finds his hand covered in more ticks than a Tourette's patient.
Well, that's kind of gross, but not exactly scary.
Not scary? He could get Lyme disease. Lyme disease! He continues the therapy by having his wife walk from one stone to another. And as soon as he does this, a dead baby bird falls out of the tree where it gets eaten by ants and then by a bigger bird. Damn, but nature is scary.
Oh yes, the food chain. Horrifying.
Finally, the wife says something that sort of sounds profound.
Satan's church.
Satan. Jesus.
Nature is Satan's church.
And suddenly she's totally okay, saying she's been completely cured. Well, this is gonna end well. And then the movie bores the crap out of us for a long time until finally the guy comes across a fox eating its own internal organs. And then comes the moment that launched 1,000 YouTube parodies.
Chaos reigns.
Be a dear to help me out, Mr. Mendo. But did the self-cannibalistic fox that I referenced in my Man from Hong Kong review just fucking talk to us?
I believe that is what just happened.
Okay. Whew. I was worried for a second that I'd gone off my meds.
You know, I'd like to say that chaos does kind of reign after this, but I learned a long time ago never to trust information that I get from a fox. In a sad footnote, the talking fox was seriously typecast after this film came out, but here he's back on his feet and working again.
Let's see the engine. Sure.
Chaos reigns.
Show me the Carfax.
And now we come to our final chapter, Despair!
Now we get despair. What the fuck do you call the last hour of my life?
In this chapter, the couple has sex and the woman wants the man to get rough.
Hit me.
What?
Hit me so it hurts.
But he's not down for that freaky shit, so she gets frustrated and wanders off and furiously masturbates against a tree.
Well, we've all been there, haven't we? Who hasn't been turned down for rough sex and have to go and masturbate against a tree? So you were saying?
Eventually, the guy comes around and starts smacking her around and his pimp hand is strong. And then we pull back and find out all sorts of hands reaching out from under the tree roots.
I don't suppose there's any chance that there's people buried underneath that tree and they all come back as zombies? Don't answer that.
Afterwards, the guy wanders around finding all sorts of evidence that his wife has gone cuckoo bananas. He finds a thesis she started a year ago, which trails off into illegible scrawling and something about how all work and no play make her a dull boy. But then he finds horrible, horrible Polaroids.
What are they? Pictures of ghosts? Zombies? Corpses? Werewolves? People hanging from trees? Youths from the 70s?
Well, I don't know if you can handle this, but she was putting the kid's shoes on the wrong feet.
Go back up! Is that it?
Well, she was doing it a lot. That's pretty scary. I mean, the kid could have ended up needing some serious orthopedic shoes to correct that.
Okay, so far in this film we've had naked Willem Dafoe, tree masturbation, a dead baby, a talking fox, and all that sort of shite. I have yet to see just one person get decapitated with a fucking axe. Please give me one good reason why I should continue to watch this piece of shit.
Well, there's this.
Wow, this has certainly got a bit more interesting. Wouldn't you agree, Mendo?
I'll, let you in, excuse me for 1 second. Shove it in the down of my head! No,
Well, it looks like Mr. Mendo's going to be indisposed for a little while, so I'm going to take over for him. What happens next? Oh look, she's drilling a hole through his leg and she bolts him to a grindstone. Well, I'm sure that's very handy if you're the type of person who constantly loses your grindstone. He then crawls away and hides under the masturbation tree, where he fights a crow who appears to be dead but comes back to life. Multiple times. Yeah, you show that crow who's boss. But she finds him and drags him back to the cabin, lies down next to him and... Oh, I don't like where this is going. I'll be right back. Oh my god!
Hey everyone, it's me, the Fear Fan. Mendo and Diamanda are a bit preoccupied at the moment, and since A, somebody needs to finish this review, and B, reviewing Ilsa and Sallow already burned away a significant portion of my immortal soul, I thought it might be best if I took over. So, where were we? In the aftermath of their fun afternoon of genital mutilation, the wife finally explains that the fox, the deer, and the crow are actually the three beggars, which is apparently a name that she just pulled out of her ass.
When the three beggars arrive, someone must die.
Willem Dafoe channels his inner Dr. Dolittle and learns to talk to the animals, which eventually allows him to get free from the grindstone. And in retaliation for all the crazy shit she's done, he strangles her to death with his bare hands. That sure takes a lot of balls for a guy who, well, no longer has any balls. He then douses her body and the masturbation tree in gasoline and gives her a Viking funeral. So, I guess they're not going to work things out after all. Darn it. In the epilogue, the guy eats berries while commiserating with the three beggars, and then an army of faceless women march up the hill and right past him. And on that note, the movie ends. And that's Antichrist. What was it about? I honestly haven't the faintest fucking clue. But at times like this, I have to defer to the expertise of our Lars von Trier expert.
Antichrist. I know about Antichrist. The idea behind Antichrist is, in our minds, nature is the tranquility, is the good and pure. But in Europe back in the Middle Ages with the forest, then you thought the forests were evil. And the witches and the trolls and the gnomes came from the forest. The Antichrist is trying to take this modern pair of people who's grown up believing in our modern days that forest is good and wanting to discover that it's evil. And there's some sex and there's some exploitation. Oh man, it's so good. How could I fall asleep?
Well, that just about sums it up. Diamanda, Mendo, any parting words? And there you have it. See you all next time on whatever show I'm whoring myself out to right now.
I am the Antichrist. I am in wanna destroy each passer-by, 'cause I want to be anarchy.
Man, I remember when you having a guest star meant me. God, you really sold out, man.